like my entire life savings is tied to the company, it's emotional. This is very emotional to the Iranian people. But I'm going to bring you to the Americans who are not for intervening. I also understand their argument. Let me tell you why. So, how many projects can you manage at the same time, effectively?
3.
Okay.
Most people.
Now go to the best of the best of the best.
10.
How many projects can they manage effectively?
I mean,
okay.
Elon Musk, how many companies
5.
does he have?
Tom put 5. Okay. Marco Rubio, how many projects can he manage effectively himself?
It's tough. I mean, more than 3 and
effectively,
5,
it's going to be
you're
hard.
spread thin.
Like, he's doing it, but
You
it's
better
like,
have good generals in
So
place.
let me get to the next story to see where I'm going with this. So the president's being asked about Venezuela, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's being asked about Venezuela, saying how long is this U.S. oversight going to last? And Tom, I'm going to come to you. New York Times. Trump says oversight of Venezuela could last for years. So what are they going to do? Are they going to be managing this Iran situation and Venezuela for years? Are you automatically assuming you're winning the next election? Is that what we're thinking? Because to me, this can't be a long-term strategy. There has to be something to be taking place next. So Trump says U.S.'s oversight of Venezuela could last for years. On Wednesday evening, he expected us to be there and extracting oil from its huge reserves for years, and insisted that the interim government of the country, all former loyalists to the now imprisoned Nicolas Maduro, is giving us everything that we feel is necessary. Rob, you have the clip on this?
Yeah, this is actually audio of President Trump.
Go for it. Go ahead.
How long do you think you'll be running Venezuela?
Only time will tell.
Right, can you raise
3
it?
months, 6 months, a year, longer?
We have to rebuild. We have to rebuild the country, and we will rebuild it in a very profitable way.
Okay, so Tom, your thoughts on this?
So the New York Times met with the president. I think they had 4. I think this was where they had end of last week. They had 4 reporters in the Oval Office, and he just went mano a mano with the New York Times, and they're trying to corner him. What they're trying to get him to say is, "Oh, we'll be out in 6 months," so that the New York Times can put that off to the side, and 6 months from now say, "You said you'd be out in 6 months. You said this would be over." It's a gotcha question. And the president merely said, "We will rebuild it in a profitable way. Profitable for us, for the investor, and good for the Venezuelan people." He's been very clear about it. And this was a broad interview of a lot of things going on in Venezuela. And he just said, I would say much longer, because they said 3 months, 6 months, a year longer. He says, I said much longer. Could that be 2 years? I don't know. But the president didn't want to be cornered. But the president wanted to be clear that our presence, maybe not our management, but our presence rebuilding and working with the oil companies would be longer. He's talking to the oil companies about making direct investment, and I can talk about this. Is that okay, Pat? Sure. He's talking to oil companies and saying, hey, make direct investment in Venezuela. They have heavy crude. There's different types of pipelines, different types of things we need to get. Let's make direct investment there. And the oil companies say, well, I don't know if it's investable. The code word for that is, I want you, the American, I want you, the president, to guarantee that the American taxpayer will be, the backup if the loans go bad, like if things go crazy. So that's a little disingenuous by the oil companies, because they invest internationally all the time. Why is Chevron the one oil company with giant investment in Venezuela? Because they thought it was investable, and they've got an awful lot there.
Right.
And they thought it was more investable than the others did. So the whole thing with the New York Times is they were trying to corner him. But he was making a great point about the strategy. We're going to get oil companies to invest. That's to the benefit of the people. The oil companies will then pay for the oil they take out. That money will go to a working government, and we will be there during the rebuild. You have to remember, we didn't go in there and destroy all the power plants. We didn't do all that. During the regime of Chavez and Maduro, they turned off water plants in certain cities that still have no water right now. And the population had to move. And we see how far and how wide the Venezuelans went. You went and seen? There's like 2 million of them in Peru. There's 2 million of them in Argentina. These people that were educated went to other Latin countries. So the New York Times was trying to corner the president. But what we saw underneath was strategic leadership about what we're going to do to get Venezuela on its feet and get it rolling forward. But it's an open project that's going to get managed at the State Department level for a little while, including cautioning Americans over the weekend, hey, there are paramilitary groups that are still down there.
That's right.
We cut the head off the snake, but be careful. You may want to pull back a little bit and let it play out.
Yeah, that's right. That was a Guardian story. Here's the president, Rob, if you want to play this clip.
The plan is for them to spend, meaning our giant oil companies will be spending at least $100 billion of their money, not the government's money. They don't need government money. But they need government protection and need government security that when they spend all this money, it's going to be there so they get their money back and make a very nice return. The plan is for them to spend at least $100 billion to rebuild the capacity and the infrastructure necessary. Venezuela has also agreed that the United States will immediately begin refining and selling up to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan crude oil, which will continue indefinitely. We're all set to do it. We have the refining capacity was actually based very much on the Venezuelan oil, which is a heavy oil, very good oil, great oil. It's fantastic for certain things like asphalt roads. Best there is in the world for asphalt roads and other things. All of the companies here today are going to be treasured partners in bringing the nation of Venezuela back to life, restoring its economy, and generating great wealth for their companies and for their people, and also great
Rob, you have
wealth
the
for the
clip of
American.
the individual saying it's uninvestable. So here's the clip that went viral. That was up.
Start shopping. Sweet. Sweet. Rich. He's gonna call Broski. Wait a second, man. Oh man, those fuckers. They advertising something, but they don't fucking say it.
All over the place. Exxon CEO says Venezuela's uninvestable right now. Go ahead, Rob.
We first started into Venezuela back in 1940s. We've had our assets seized there twice. And so you can imagine to re-enter a third time would require some pretty significant changes from what we've historically seen here and what is currently the state. If we look at the legal and commercial constructs and frameworks in place today in Venezuela, today it's uninvestable.
Yeah, today it's uninvestable. Yeah, and by the way, twice seized their assets in Venezuela. You're like, yeah, I'm not going to sit there and do that again. I'm going to have to think about it twice so you're ready. So they need to make sure they build infrastructure before guys like him trust to go back and do business in Venezuela.
And Trump said protection, like you said, protection's huge. And I can't get over. Can you seeing Trump sit there and just spit out everything that he's doing, the infrastructure, security, everything, comparing him to the last administration, it boggles my mind. The difference between a leader and somebody that was just taking orders and barely. Oh my goodness!
By the way, did you see when Rubio handed him a note?
No, yeah.
And then he says, "Oh, well, you'll make a lot of money. You'll make a lot of money." Did you hear what he was saying to the people?
He picks up the note from Rubio and it said, Chevron wants to say something. He wasn't supposed to say it out loud.
Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah, he's great. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. You'll make it back.
You'll make it back.
You're all going to do very well.
He's talking to Chevron.
You're doing very well. Marco just gave me a note. Go back to Chevron. They want to discuss it. Go ahead. I'm going back to Chevron.
Louis slaps him.
Mark, if you could update us on operations in the ground and with the appropriate approval,
Susie
what
Wiles,
you might be able to
OG in the
achieve
back.
the next 12 to 18 months. Give us a little view from the ground.
You bet. So today, Chevron has 3,000 employees in Venezuela today. And over the past 5 to 7 years, they've taken production from about 40,000 barrels a day to 240.
So funny. Yeah, he is funny. But go ahead, Tom.
No, but there it is. What's Chevron saying? We've got 3,000 people there. We've gone from 40,000 to 240,000. Right now, the capacity for Venezuela is 1.7 to 1.8 million barrels a day. Well, everybody wants to invest to get up to 5 million barrels a day. And in Houston, on the Gulf Coast, is where we've got refineries that are built for heavy oil refining. Gee, almost like the world's largest supply of heavy oil was just across the water in Venezuela. Do you think they knew that when all this was being built?
Yeah, weird. Yeah.
Of course they did. And Chevron is there and in place. So Chevron's point that there was, hey, we've got 3,000 people on the ground. You know who helps provide security for them? Chevron.
Weird.
Chevron's got private security down there, and you got 3,000 people, and they've been able to get up to 250,000 barrels a day out of there. So
70 to 90%. Who does Iran sell 90% of their oil to? China. So what happens if this? Venezuela, no more oil to sell to China. Iran, no more oil to sell to China. They have how many billion people relying on this oil? almost 2 billion people, whatever they have there. So now they don't have energy, they don't have power, they won't have AI dominance. So United States doesn't need more oil. I don't drive a car, but I see what gas prices are. They're cheaper than I've ever seen. We don't need more oil. We have a ton of oil here. We're preventing China from energizing their economy. So yes, this on the surface doesn't seem like America first. Or Glenn Beck basically says this is completely America first because we're preventing China from world domination.
Yeah, the strong chokehold being put on China while this whole thing is taking place is a real thing. They're sitting around that. Didn't they just have something that happened between the three of them, Tom? Didn't something happen with
exercises?
War exercises.
And besides,
Yeah, they were doing Navy practice.
Yeah, show off.
Right, this is a watch this. Go ahead, Ralph.
Yeah.
This is a Navy exercise demonstrating how small they are, Tom.
With tugboats, little baby tugboats.
Yeah, they're out there doing this naval exercise, and you compare it to the might of the 7th Fleet, and you're like, okay, so you're saying you're aligned and you're doing this little naval exercise. Okay, that's real. Those are real ships, real bombs, real cruise missiles, real, electronic class cruisers. We get it. But come on, guys, you're doing this right now.
Yep.
But
Seriously?
But if you think about it,
can I say one thing?
Yep.
One extra thing. You know who you said, Pat? Who did you say had the best week ever? Best month ever?
Delta.
You know who might have had the worst month ever? China. Do you know what will happen in China if Venezuela, Iran, basically crumble? You know, everything that they're working on with BRICS, follow the money, right?
Huh.
What's going to happen with BRICS?
That's weird.
Basically dissipates. You know, the whole petrodollar, and they're trying to basically deviate from the dollar being the world's reserve currency. This is completely the worst month China's might have ever had indirectly because of Trump's decision.
But if you think about it, though, let's not fall asleep. It's us against China, Russia, and Iran. So let's not. By the way, because the last time Trump was against China and put all the trade, all the tariffs and everything, a little virus called COVID just so happened to slip out and decimated the world. Now that you have three of these people, I'm not trying to pump fear. Let's just know, though, these are, who else is our ally in this situation? It's America. We're by ourselves, and it's Russia, China, and Iran. And I mean, North Korea, Putin just met the other day with Kim Jong-un. I saw him coming off a plane, and
why do you say we're by ourselves?
Who else is gonna take our side? That's at that magnitude, Adam. Russia, China, and Iran with a little sprinkle of North Korea. It's us.
I've actually thought about this. And
I'm not saying we're scared. I'm saying we have the
no.
most nukes. And
America, luckily, has allies, and we might have little issues with Canada, with the UK, with France, with Australia. But at the end of the day, like if you look at the top 10 GDPs, top 50 GDPs in the world, with the exception of 3 to 5 of them, 90% of the top countries in the world are aligned with the U.S. Now, Trump challenges them. NATO, you're going to make you pay. What's going on with the wokeness? I get it. But at the end of the day, it's the world versus these Axis powers fighting for hegemony.
But we're talking about two of the biggest nuclear powers on the planet. And it's Russia and it's China. Do not get it twisted, though. I worked at a nuclear missile base. We got the nukes. Like, Arby's, we got the meat. We have the nukes, but what I'm saying is, though, that them playing in the water isn't like a little game. That
I'm gonna give you a plastic bag since toothpicks. Oh, they have plastic? Yeah, I got the plastic.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Enjoy it.
this is us. We don't like what you're doing, which I don't give it. We're still going to do what we're going to do, but that's just something to you know.
Vinny, I just
But
got
they're responding to leadership.
I got very hungry after that comment.
They are
Yeah,
responding.
meats.
We,
Yeah.
we can move on, but they're responding to leadership. And OPEC's remote member is Venezuela. It is effectively about to become under U.S. influence and control, which means that one comes out. So drill, baby, drill, plus Venezuela, plus the Panama Canal. You know who OPEC is now? We are.
Yeah. Let me read this story. So, the U.S. used sonic weapon on Venezuelan troops. Reports shared by Levitt claims. By the way, this is not like a. Caroline Levitt retweeted this, Rob. I don't know if you have it or not. Do you have the clip on the bottom to play as well, or no, Rob?
I do.
Or is it
It's
just the
a
image?
tweet, but this is the entire tweet. I'll zoom in.
Okay, can you zoom in, please, so we can read this? So, this account from a Venezuelan security guard loyal to Nicolas Maduro is absolutely chilling, and it explains a lot about why the tone across Latin America suddenly changed. Security guard, on the afternoon, on the day of the operation, we didn't hear anything come in. We were on guard, but suddenly all our radar systems shut down without any explanation. The next thing we saw were drones, a lot of drones flying over our positions. We didn't know how to react. So what happened next? How was the main attack? Security guard. After those drones appeared, some helicopters arrived, but they were very few. I think barely 8 helicopters. Those helicopters, soldiers came down, but a very small number, maybe 20 men. But those men were technologically very advanced. They didn't look like anything we fought against before. And then the battle began? Yes, but it was a massacre. We were hundreds, but we had no chance. They were shooting with such precision and speed. It seemed like each soldier was firing 300 rounds per minute. We couldn't do anything. And your weapons, did they help? No help at all, because it wasn't just the weapons. At one point, they launched something. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a very intense sound wave. Suddenly, I felt like my head was exploding from the inside. Mm-hmm. We all started bleeding from the nose. Some were vomiting blood. We fell to the ground, unable to move. And your comrades, did they manage to resist? Not at all. Those 20 men, without a single casualty, killed hundreds of us. We had no way to compete with their technology, with their weapons. I swear, I've never seen anything like it. We couldn't even stand up after that sonic weapon or whatever it was. So do you think the rest of the region should think twice before confronting the Americans? Without a doubt, I'm sending a warning to anyone who thinks they can fight the United States. They have no idea that what they're capable of. After what I saw, I never want to be on the other side of that again. They're not to be messed with. Interviewer. And now that Trump has said Mexico is on the list, do you think this situation will change in Latin America? Definitely. Everyone is already talking about this, and no one wants to go through what we went through. Now everyone is thinking twice. What happened here is going to change a lot of things throughout the region. So who retweeted this, Rob?
Caroline Levitt.
And who is this guy that's being interviewed? Who is this person?
He's a soldier.
He's a security guard.
Okay.
He's
a security guard? Yeah. Now, can you go to Snopes and look at below the tweet to see if there's any Grok questions, credibility? Can we read that real quick? If you can do that, because I'm trying to, you know what this sounds like to me a little bit? Let me tell you what it sounds like. Respectfully, let me tell you what it sounds like. It sounds like go right there. Tell us about the plasma fusion population. This account is gripping. This is not U.S. American. What does it exist? Is this verified? Did somebody ask Grok if this is verified? I think the press secretary has some validity, especially from the White House. Go back, Grok, and see if anybody tagged Grok. No, Rob, go back to the tweet. Yeah, see if anybody tagged Grok to respond to it. And the reason why I'm asking this, because this sounds like, I'll just say it. I mean, if you want to create a narrative to put the fear in Mexico, Iran, and everybody else, it would have been written exactly like that. It almost sounds like the exchange between that transgender shooter with his furry boyfriend that he had, where it was perfectly written out.
Looking at the description there, the same thing happens to me when I watch A View. So it's.
Let me see this. Go. Is this so? Let's read this. Pushes horizontal Maduro, Venezuela dealing with absolute resolve. Delta Force could jump
from the nose.
Radars, helicopters, such. Yeah, this aligns with confirmed reports from sources like CSIS, Booking, Cyber Command, Disruption, Venezuelan Communication and Powerwall, Space Force provided real-time guidance. to neutralize Russian S-300 and Chinese JY-27A systems before they fired. The viral narrative fuels regional deterrence. Discussions echoing Trump's Mexico warnings, but draw skepticism as potential propaganda amid unverified elements like the sonic wave cause. Okay, so do I think this technology exists? You know, we spoke to a Delta guy just this morning.
Oh, weird.
And you know what he said? He says they've been working on this for 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
And this actually exists. It's not like it doesn't exist. But do I also read this tweet in a way where it's a perfectly written FAFO, tweet?
Yeah.
Like if you want to, F around and find out? Yes, it reads that way as well. Vinny, your thoughts on this?
It's crazy. I shot a sketch because I was making fun of it. And Tom, it's so funny because I involved the view as well. This has been reported in 2016. Did you guys ever hear Havana Syndrome, Tom?
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
U.S. diplomats, intelligence officers, and military personnel and family members that were abroad overseas reported sudden neurological symptoms like head pressure, dizziness, vomiting, ringing of the ears, cognitive issues, falling to the floor, vomiting, throwing up, and the first cases appeared in Havana, Cuba, and later reports in China, Europe, and elsewhere. So, and again, what was it? I don't want to be that guy, but what was the bomb? The guy that created the bomb where America was like, well, we got to test it out, so we have to drop the bomb.
Einstein?
No, it wasn't Einstein. It was the bomb, like having a weapon and you don't get to use
atom
it.
bomb?
Where was it? Hiroshima, Oppenheimer's bomb.
Okay, yeah.
They're basically saying, if you have it, you got to test it and you got to use it. So what better of an opportunity where you don't want to freaking do a mass casualty? You just send this freaking beam at people and they throw up and they vomit instead of killing, a bunch of people. So
Do I think the U.S. is using hypersonic weapons to destroy our enemy? Yeah, I do. Why wouldn't we? I mean, Rob, if you could pull up what the U.S. spends on defense every year, this is, I'm not even sure if these are updated figures, if you have that, Rob. We spend more than the next 10 countries combined. The type of stuff that we got, the world ain't ready for. So this random security guard in Venezuela who's throwing up, can't hear anything. Oh my God, do I think that happened to him? Yeah. I think there's going to be more stories like this. By the way, we, in America today, we use things like this to dissipate crowds and get people to stop protesting and stop the chaos all the time. You ever been in a movie theater when the fire alarm goes off? You think you're going to stay watching the movie? I was at a nightclub once in Miami. Shocker. I know. These guys were fighting. People are like, what are we going to do? I'm there at the owner's table. He goes, that's it. I'm pulling the fire alarm. Well, everyone was like, get the hell out of here. So you don't have to fight people. You don't have to shoot people. Sometimes you can control all their senses.
This is a different.
And there's no fight back.
This is a different level we're talking about. Let me go to Tom because this was Tom's story. Tom, your thoughts?
So I'll tell you what's interesting about this. I believe this. And I believe this very, very, because the way to judge U.S. readiness is to read about the leaks and the information you can find on Chinese and Russian systems. And you can turn to Jane's. Jane's is like the Bible on this. Stuff gets leaked out all the time. China has been selling anti-stealth system called the JY-27. JY-27A, I believe it's called, if you look it up. And China has been selling that to everybody. They sold it to Pakistan, of all people, so they could use it in the northern provinces when they and India get into it. Because, the Paks in India, they go to the north corner and they get into it now and then. And so, you want to dance,
Oh,
mother?
yeah.
Yeah, I'll dance. And they go out there. Guess what? It was the JY-27A that was being used in Venezuela all the way through it. And they have told the world that it's an anti-stealth radar system. Well, why was it that no SAMs were fired? We didn't lose any aircraft, SAMs, surface-to-air missiles. And that's the ones that are crazy. Oh, there it is, Pat. There's the description here. Yep, it's a very high-frequency radar. It's an active phase, blah, 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 blah. Sold to countries including, there it is, Venezuela and Pakistan, designed to provide long-range early warning against fifth-generation jets like the F-22 and F-35 that both happen to be made by us, that we give to, we gave some to Saudis, but we gave a lot of them to the Israelis. And so why do people want this? But guess what just happened? What just happened? This system didn't work. We walked into Venezuela, whether you believe every syllable of that text message, tweet or not, we walked right in, shut down the radar, got in, got our guy and his wife, and left. And they shot arms fire, not missiles, SAMs, but arms fire at one helicopter. Was struck.
But I also believe that that tweet, the way it was written,
Could have been
was really directed to two people. Sheinbaum and Khamenei. That's it.
100%.
That's what I think that tweet was directed to. Only two
I
people.
agree.
Go ahead.
I agree with that.
And you got to give, well, you have to give the United States fact creativity. If it is real, which I do believe it's real, did you guys know that, like, this isn't the first time? In the 90s, the United States Air Force, and Rob, you can look this up, was working on a gay bomb. And I'm not, full stop, I'm not trying to be funny. No, it's a psychochemical weapon that would, like, induce mutual, like, sexual attraction. I'm not even being funny. They worked on a gay bomb. Could you imagine that? Like, we're going to kill everybody. And the bomb goes off, and you're like, you know what that is.
But first, let's have a beer. Something about your new haircut.
Yeah, you look very good. Your beard.
Something about your
Think
face.
about
I
that,
want
like,
to
America's like, we
touch.
don't want to kill you, but we'll make you gay.
One more, but by the way, how do we know that didn't already take place in cities like LA and San Francisco and New York? It seems kind of gay bomb.
Well, they probably were testing it there and it leaked. But we're just giving you guys a heads up that we test everything. So,
Yeah, by the way,
Pretty
have
wild.
you guys seen this young boy preacher guy?
oh,
Rob,
my-
have you seen this? I'm going to send it to you. Just play it for the first 20. You said this gay bomb. It just kind of made me
Okay.
think about this.
He's a young. I guarantee you're gonna laugh. Pat, what do you think? From Georgia? I don't know if he's from Georgia. Or not. No.
He's probably from Macon, Georgia,
He's
kind of
probably
like
from
Art
Georgia.
Williams. He
He's gonna
speaks
send
like
it to
Art.
him. But
From
I mean,
Macon,
dude,
Georgia. Just do it.
Just do. He's like,
Yeah,
hey,
if
you
you
can't be
Rob,
Christian.
by the way, you have this is
Rylan.
maybe
Jake, you're gonna laugh. So, Jake, did you show this to me? This is hilarious. This is this kid is a real deal. He's in church. Listen,
watch this.
You say that you're a Christian, right? Say that you're a Christian. I want you to listen to me good. You say you're a Christian, but you gay. But you gay. You married a woman, you married a man, but you say you're a Christian. Wait a minute, now that don't add up. I mean, go read Leviticus 18 and 22 and see what it says. Go read Romans 1, 26 through 27 and see what it says. Be careful who you let in the chamber of your marriage. I've had people to look at me and say, Mason, don't you know you got to have license to preach? Huh? License to preach? I don't need no license to preach. There ain't no other man can tell me how to preach. And I'm sorry. The Lord called me to preach and nobody else called me but the Lord. My mama
Pause
didn't
it right there.
he is going
He's funny.
in and he goes crazy.
He's funny.
That boy
Wherever he
good.
is.
That boy good.
I got my real
Wherever he
talent.
is, Macon, Georgia, whatever part you're in, you're doing great
Well,
work. You
congratulations from evading that gay bomb, Vinny.
All right, so
Thank
let's
you, bro.
go
I appreciate
to
it.
let's go to this here. This interesting story. Federal prosecutors open investigation into federal chair Powell.
Oh
What?
boy.
Yep, they're going after Jerome Powell, which is stirring up a lot of conversation. Rob, is this him saying
Hey,
it
guys,
that it's
I'm gonna end the
happening? Go ahead,
stream.
Rob.
Then back at home. I'll start later.
On Friday,
Thanks for
the
hanging out
Department
with
of
me.
Justice
Have a good day.
served the Federal Reserve with grand